What's up, everyone? Welcome back to True Crime Doc. Before we dive into one of the most controversial cases in hip-hop history, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss this. Today, we're breaking down the complete story of YNW Melly, from rising star to murder accusations. This case has everything: a hit song that eerily predicted his fate, celebrity support, courtroom drama, and a trial that's been delayed for years. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why Melly's still in jail after nearly 6 years and what might happen next. Drop a comment below. Do you think Melly is innocent or guilty? Let me introduce you to the man at the center of this storm. Jamel Maurice Demons, born May 1, 1999, in Gifford, Florida, one of the poorest areas in the state. His mother, Jamie Demons King, was just 14 years old when she gave birth to him, raising him as a single parent. Melly never knew his biological father. Growing up in these tough conditions, Melly found his escape through music. He taught himself to sing by listening to Michael Jackson and Chris Brown on repeat. In 2016, he formed YNW, which stands for Young Nigga World or Young New Wave, a hip-hop collective with his childhood friends, Anthony YNW Sakchaser Williams, Christopher YNW Juvy Thomas Jr., and Cortland YNW Bortland Henry. If you're enjoying this breakdown, smash that like button right now. By 2018, Melly was blowing up. His single Murder on My Mind, released in 2017, was gaining massive traction. The song is haunting, with lyrics describing a murder in vivid detail. Little did anyone know, this song would become eerily relevant to his future. In August 2018, Melly dropped his debut mixtape YNW under 300 Entertainment. The project went gold. Murder on My Mind was climbing the charts, and by early 2019, it would reach number 14 on the Billboard Hot 100. But here's where it gets crazy: Kanye West wanted to work with him. When Melly first heard about it, he didn't believe it. But he tracked him down, and they ended up in the studio together. Kanye convinced Melly to let him hop on Mixed Personalities because he related to the song's message. This collaboration was released in January 2019 on Melly's second mixtape We All Shine, which also went gold. Subscribe if you want more deep dives into hip-hop cases like this. Everything was looking up for the 19-year-old rapper. He was working with one of the biggest names in hip-hop, his music was streaming millions of times, and he had a dedicated fanbase. His manager was Jameson 100K Francois, who also managed King Von, and Melly had formed a close bond with the Chicago rapper. But behind the scenes, something dark was brewing. October 26, 2018. This is the date that changed everything. It was the early morning hours, around 3 or 4 a.m. Melly, along with YNW Bortland, Cortland Henry, YNW Juvy, Christopher Thomas Jr., and YNW Sakchaser, Anthony Williams, had just left a recording studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They were all in a Jeep Compass. Bortland was driving, Melly was in the back left seat behind the driver, while Juvy and Sakchaser were in the other seats. According to what would later be told to police, they were victims of a drive-by shooting. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. At approximately 4:35 a.m., Bortland pulled up to Memorial Hospital Miramar in a panic. He ran into the emergency room, claiming his friends had been shot in a drive-by. Inside the Jeep, both Juvy and Sakchaser had multiple gunshot wounds. The emergency room doctors examined them, but it was too late. Both were pronounced dead on arrival. Juvy was just 19 years old. Sakchaser was 21. These weren't just Melly's crew members, these were his childhood friends, guys he'd grown up with in Gifford, guys he'd made music with, guys who were in that documentary about his life that had just wrapped filming 4 days earlier. The Miramar Police Department immediately began investigating. And from the jump, something didn't add up. Bortland's story was that they were driving when suddenly shots rang out from the right side of the vehicle, a classic drive-by. But investigators quickly found evidence that completely contradicted this story. First, the autopsy reports came back. Both victims had bullet wounds with trajectories going from left to right, not from the right side where a drive-by shooter would have been. The medical examiner testified that the shots came from their left, meaning from inside the car, at close range. Comment below, what would you do if you were on the jury? Then there was the shell casing. Police found a single .40 caliber shell casing inside the vehicle on the floorboard of the left rear passenger side, exactly where Melly had been sitting. They also found 8 matching shell casings at a different location, suggesting the car had been shot up after the murders to make it look like a drive-by. Cell phone tower records placed both Melly and Bortlen at multiple locations that night, and the timeline didn't match their story. The evidence suggested they'd driven around with the bodies for a period of time before going to the hospital. But wait, there's more damning evidence. Surveillance footage from the studio showed Melly getting into the specific seat in the back left of the Jeep, the exact position from which forensic experts determined the fatal shots were fired. Ballistics reports showed that all the shots that killed both victims came from that same position. One victim, Christopher Thomas Jr., Juvy, even had a defensive wound on his right hand, a gunshot wound on his thumb. According to Broward Sheriff's Office Sergeant Christopher Williams, at some point he turned and put his hands up. This indicated Thomas had tried to defend himself, contradicting the drive-by story where he wouldn't have seen the shots coming. If you're shocked by these details, give this video a thumbs up, but here's what really caught everyone's attention: Instagram messages. Prosecutors presented evidence that after the murders, someone messaged Melly on Instagram asking if he was okay. According to the prosecution, Melly's response was chilling: "Shoo. I did that." These 3 words would become one of the most talked about pieces of evidence in the case. There were also text messages from August 2018, 2 months before the murders, showing tension between Melly and Sakchaser. In one exchange, Sakchaser allegedly wrote, "Ain't gon' lie, I'm tired of y'all getting y'all credit on shit." 4 months, the investigation continued. Melly was still releasing music, still performing, still living his life as a rising star. His collaboration with Kanye West dropped in January 2019, and Murder on My Mind was becoming a massive hit. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Then, on February 13, 2019, nearly 4 months after the murders, the hammer dropped. Both Jamel YNW Melly Demons and Cortland YNW Bortlen Henry were arrested and charged with 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. Subscribe and hit the bell. This story gets even crazier. The charges were severe. If convicted, Melly faced either life in prison without the possibility of parole, or the death penalty. Bortlen faced the same charges but without the death penalty on the table. Melly surrendered himself to police, and there's actually a video, shown in court but not to jurors, of him stuffed inside a suitcase before turning himself in. In the February 2019 video, he whispers, "My name is Melly, and I'm going to turn myself in." In March 2019, Melly pleaded not guilty to all charges. His legal team, led by Bradford Cohen, a celebrity attorney, and later joined by Jason Roger Williams, who previously defended Boozy Badass in his murder trial, maintained his complete innocence. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room: Murder on My Mind. This song, released in 2017 and officially dropped on his mixtape in 2018, contains incredibly detailed lyrics about committing a murder, yellow tape around his body. "It's a fucking homicide" / "his face is on a t-shirt and his family traumatized / "I didn't even mean to shoot him. He just caught me by surprise / "I reloaded my pistol, cocked it back, and shot him twice." The parallels were insane. And everyone wondered, would prosecutors use these lyrics against him in court? Drop a like if you think rap lyrics should or shouldn't be used as evidence. Melly's lawyer addressed this concern in interviews with XXL magazine, saying, "It's unclear, but lyrics have certainly been a large part of what has come from that office right now. They have not used lyrics in court yet, but that seems to be the plan based on what we've heard so far." His attorney drew parallels to Boozy's case, noting, "The thing that some law enforcement folks just haven't realized yet is that rap lyrics are just lyrics, just like rock song lyrics are just lyrics." Interestingly, Melly had actually told Fader magazine in August 2018 that a prosecutor had read his lyrics aloud in court during a probation violation hearing earlier that year, and he believed those lyrics had swayed the court to send him back to jail. From February 2019 onward, Melly sat in Broward County Jail awaiting trial. But even behind bars, he continued to release music using pre-recorded vocals. His debut studio album Melly vs. Melvin dropped in November 2019 and peaked at number 8 on the Billboard 200, his highest charting album ever. Then in 2020, COVID-19 hit. Melly tested positive for the virus while incarcerated. His legal team immediately filed a motion for his release, arguing he was at risk of losing his life due to inadequate care and protection provided by the jail. The motion was denied. He remained locked up. Comment if you've been following this case since the beginning. During this time, Murder on My Mind exploded even further. The song went from gold to platinum to 6x platinum. It has over 670 million views on YouTube and over a billion streams on Spotify. The irony is dark. Melly's arrest and charges actually boosted his most famous song, the one about murder, to massive success. His sophomore album, Just a Matter of Slime, dropped in 2021, also while he was incarcerated. Throughout 2022, he continued to feature on singles despite being locked up. Years passed. 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. And Melly was still waiting for his trial. The delays were caused by multiple factors: COVID-19 pandemic restrictions on court proceedings, defense motions, prosecution appeals, evidence disputes, and legal maneuvering from both sides. His defense team filed a speedy trial request in May 2022, which meant the trial would have to commence within 175 days. There were multiple hearings about whether Melly should face the death penalty. Hit subscribe if you want to see how this case ends. In July 2022, a decision was announced that Melly would no longer face capital punishment if convicted. His supporters celebrated, but that victory was short-lived. In November 2022, an appellate judge overruled the decision, once again making Melly eligible for the death penalty. His team appealed to the Florida Supreme Court, but that appeal was unsuccessful. By this point, Melly had been in jail for over 3 years without a trial. His mother, Jamie Demons King, was vocal about the delays, constantly advocating for her son and maintaining his innocence. She had been just 14 when she had him, and now she was watching her son fight for his life from behind bars. Finally, in April 2023, jury selection began. The trial everyone had been waiting for was about to start. June 12, 2023. After more than 4 years of waiting, YNW Melly's double murder trial officially began in Broward County, Florida. The courtroom was packed. Every available seat was filled with Melly's family, friends, and supporters, and guess who showed up on day one? Boozy Badass. The Louisiana rapper walked into the courthouse wearing a bright orange overcoat, black sunglasses, and a black button-down shirt. A video of him walking through the courthouse went viral on social media. Boozy told XXL, "I talked to his mom the other night. I'm going to support Melly. I was on a plane with Melly one day in the airport with him. We was in the airport, and he took his credit card out. He ain't let me buy nothing. Bro. He bought all my food, my magazines." Drop a like if you respect Boozy for showing up. Meek Mill also showed support on Twitter before the trial started, writing, "Free Lil Melly, he innocent. Let's watch the facts of his case so we don't get railroaded. It's in Florida. It may be on TV." Lil Durk posted a photo of Melly in the courtroom on his Instagram story with the caption, "Free at YNW Melly." By day 3, Boozy was so invested that he posted on Instagram, "I am not missing no more rap murder trials. This shit is educational, no cap." Watching the defense and prosecution drop bars, then looking at the jurors trying to read them is crazy. "I want to study law. I want to try it. I think I can be a defense attorney or at least help some attorneys out. I am motivated." But not everyone was happy about the celebrity support. The father of YNW Juvy, Christopher Thomas Jr., was furious. He posted a video on social media absolutely going off on Boozy and everyone saying "Free Melly." In the emotional video, Juvy's father said, "Man, everybody that's saying "Free Melly," then he flashed his middle finger, "That's to you and your mama and your daddy and everybody that look like you. And that's me, I said it. Y'all are bitches, man." Boozy down there supporting Melly, he flaw as fuck for that. He don't even know that nah Melly. He talking about, "I want Melly free cause that nah bought me snacks and a magazine at the airport." What? This is getting intense. Comment your thoughts below. He continued, "Man, go to Marlo Mike's trial, nah. Fuck you at this nah trial? Marlo Mike and that bitch fighting for his life, nah. You got that man staying up the road doing all that goddamn time, but you in there for Melly. And got them in AS in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, fighting for their life. Nah, you got your priorities fucked up, nah. Go back to your hometown." Scary ass NA. Leandra Phillips, the mother of Christopher Thomas Jr., also spoke to NBC6 South Florida, demanding justice for her son and describing how hard the past 4 years had been since his death. On June 12, opening statements began. Prosecutor Christine Bradley laid out the state's case, stating that Melly and Henry murdered their 2 friends and attempted to stage it as a drive-by shooting. She presented the Instagram message where Melly allegedly said "shoo." I did that and emphasized the forensic evidence. Bradley also revealed something shocking during her opening statement. She alleged that Fredo Bang, Frederick Givens, picked up Melly after the murders. What you're also going to find out is that while Mr. Demons is out on the road at 4 in the morning, he sends a drop pin to his current location to one of his friends, Frederick Givens, and Melly asked to be picked up. Bradley said, Fredo Bang's attorney had previously released a statement in January saying, Mr. Givens does not intend to cooperate with the prosecution of this case. Subscribe for more updates on hip-hop legal cases. Defense attorney David A. Howard fired back, stating there was zero motive for Demons to murder his friends. And if after 4 years of investigation, the state comes and says, hey, he killed 2 of his best friends. And you're wondering why, and their answer is, I don't know. That's the first indication that they're just guessing and don't know what they're talking about, Howard argued, emphasizing the case was riddled with reasonable doubt. Throughout the trial, Melly's mother Jamie Demons King was there every single day, watching her son fight for his life. The emotional toll was devastating. On June 19, 2023, just 1 week into the trial, she posted on Instagram, I'm deleting this app. I can't be crying and making myself upset because of a lying clout chaser who won't even show his face in court but cares so much. I had 1 heart attack already because of stress. Yes, you heard that right. Jamie revealed she had suffered a stress-induced heart attack because of her son's trial. She continued, I refuse to let this kill me. I try to be peaceful and respectful to all of you. I pray for everyone, because I know it's the right thing to do. If your heart goes out to Melly's mom, drop a like right now. Jamie had spent 3 years only seeing her son in jail before she saw him alongside his lawyers at the start of the trial. The stress of watching the prosecution present evidence, the media coverage, the public scrutiny, the victim's family's anger, it all took a severe toll on her physical and mental health. On the other side, the victims' mothers were also devastated. Leandra Phillips described Melly blowing a kiss towards the gallery during the 3rd day of trial as disrespectful. The pain of losing their sons and then having to sit through this trial was unimaginable. The trial continued for weeks. Testimony from law enforcement, forensic experts, medical examiners, and other witnesses. The prosecution presented surveillance footage, cell phone tower data, ballistics reports, autopsy findings, and those infamous Instagram messages. The defense challenged the forensic evidence, questioned police procedures, presented alibi witnesses, and argued that investigators had predetermined Melly was guilty before even completing their analysis. One tense moment came when Felicia Holmes, the mother of Melly's girlfriend at the time, was called to testify by the prosecution. She was visibly irritated by prosecutor Bradley, claiming she was intimidated and had been jailed by the state attorney's office over claims she failed to show up for proceedings. Comment below, should this have been a mistrial from the start? The defense filed multiple motions for a mistrial, claiming the prosecution had introduced evidence that had previously been deemed inadmissible. Judge John Murphy denied these motions. Finally, after weeks of testimony, the case went to the jury. The jury deliberated for 14 hours over 3 days. Judge Murphy even gave them an Allen charge, a direction urging them to try to reach a unanimous conclusion, but they couldn't do it. The jury was deadlocked. On July 22, 2023, Judge John Murphy made the announcement, mistrial. The jury could not reach a unanimous verdict. A juror later revealed to Local 10 News that the vote was 9-3 in favor of convicting Melly, but on the lesser charge of manslaughter, not first-degree murder. 9 jurors thought he was guilty of manslaughter, 3 thought he should be acquitted completely. Judge Murphy addressed the jurors, these types of decisions, they're hard decisions. We very much appreciate the fact that you gave us the time because we've been here a long time. We understand that. You gave us the time and you did your best effort to bring about resolution, but unfortunately that wasn't able to happen. Hit that like button if you think the jury made the right call. Melly's supporters celebrated, he wasn't convicted. But the prosecutors immediately announced they would retry the case. Melly remained in custody. After over 4 years in jail, after a month-long trial, after all that testimony and evidence, he was right back where he started, waiting for another trial. His mother Jamie posted on Instagram, "Please make it make sense." The victims' families were devastated that there wasn't a conviction. And Melly? He was heading back to his jail cell. The retrial was originally scheduled for October 2023. Then it was pushed to 2024. Then to September 2025. And now, It's scheduled for January 2027. That's right, nearly 8 years after his arrest before his second trial even begins. But why all these delays? Well, in October 2023, something wild happened. YNW Melly's co-defendant, who had been out on bond since 2021, was suddenly arrested again on October 2, 2023. The charges? Witness tampering. According to the South Florida Sun-Sentinel, Bortland's arrest warrant cited instances where he sought to stop witnesses from testifying truthfully, or in some cases, from testifying at all, during Melly's first trial. Subscribe so you don't miss the conclusion of this insane story. On October 3, both Bortland and Melly were formally charged with witness tampering, along with Broward County inmate Terrence Mathis, who allegedly helped Melly contact Bortland from jail. 6 more related charges were added to the original tampering count in a separate case. The case was also placed on indefinite pause in early 2024, awaiting the inclusion of a promotional video about Melly's life as evidence. The prosecution appealed various rulings. There were disputes about evidence admissibility, and the legal battles just kept piling up. Each delay meant more time behind bars for Melly without resolution. In November 2024, Melly's attorney filed a bombshell lawsuit against the Broward Sheriff's Office. The lawsuit claimed Melly was being illegally detained under conditions that violate the 1st, 5th, 6th, 8th, and 14th Amendments to the United States Constitution. According to the lawsuit, Melly has been in extreme isolation for over 3 years. The complaint states he has not been able to see or speak to his family in several years and has been experiencing debilitating isolation. He's been in 23-hour-a-day lockdown with no human contact. On a unit alone, the lawsuit claims, Jamel has not had phone calls or visitation privileges in almost 3 years. If you think this is cruel and unusual punishment, drop a comment. A judge ordered the Broward Sheriff's Office to explain why Melly shouldn't be released, with a response deadline of December 16, 2024. In May 2024, Melly's legal team filed a motion for pretrial release, requesting bond so he could await trial at home. They proposed house arrest, an ankle monitor, and 24/7 private security. Lead defense attorney Raven Liberty said, "They would be reporting if there was any infractions by Mr. Demons. They would be reporting directly to myself, to the legal team, the state attorney, and to the court." His mother Jamie said, "We are really hopeful today that he's going to get a bond and be able to come home. The only time I do see him is in the courtroom and we aren't able to conversate with each other." So where does everything stand today in December 2024? YNW Melly has been in jail since February 13, 2019. That's nearly 6 years, over 2,000 days, without being convicted of any crime. He's presumed innocent until proven guilty, yet he's been locked up longer than many people who've actually been convicted of crimes. His retrial is currently scheduled for January 2027, that's potentially nearly 8 years after his arrest before he gets his second chance at trial. If convicted, Melly could face life in prison without the possibility of parole, or the death penalty. Under Florida's new non-unanimous death penalty law signed by Governor Ron DeSantis, a jury can now recommend death if at least 8 out of 12 jurors agree. It no longer has to be unanimous. Melly could be one of the first defendants sentenced under this new law. What do you think will happen? Guilty, not guilty, or another mistrial? Comment below. The prosecution maintains they have strong forensic evidence, ballistics showing shots fired from inside the car, cell phone data placing Melly at the scene, autopsy reports contradicting the drive-by story, surveillance footage, and those Instagram messages. The defense maintains Melly is innocent, arguing there's no clear motive, the investigation was flawed, the evidence is circumstantial, and reasonable doubt exists throughout the case. His music continues to stream millions of times. Murder on My Mind is now 6x platinum with over 1 billion streams. The irony is inescapable. This case has everything that makes a legal drama compelling: a rising star, childhood friends turned victims, conflicting evidence, celebrity support, emotional family members, courtroom battles, and a justice system that seems to move at a glacial pace. 2 young men, YNW Juvy and YNW Sakchaser, lost their lives on October 26, 2018. Their families want justice and closure. They've had to watch as their son's alleged killer became more famous, as his music went platinum, as celebrities rallied to his defense. On the other side, a young man sits in isolation for nearly 6 years awaiting his day in court, unable to see or speak to his family, his mental health deteriorating, fighting for his life. Before you go, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications for more content like this. We don't know what happened in that Jeep on that October night. That's what trials are for. That's what juries decide. But what we don't know is this case raises serious questions about pretrial detention, the death penalty, and how long someone can wait for justice, whether you're the defendant or the victims' families. What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, innocent until proven guilty. The retrial is coming in 2027. Until then, this story remains unfinished. Thanks for watching True Crime Doc. If you learned something new today, share this video and subscribe for more deep dives into hip-hop's biggest stories. Peace.